something could fit his style better to kind of help the dogs out this year.
Yeah, I think, again, I don't know how the quarterback battle is going to ultimately end up. I mean, Newman is being challenged, of course, by Daniels. But I feel pretty good about the dogs. I mean, I think the Alabama game is the only game that I think they'll be underdogs in. Well, depending on how the Florida season evolves. But I think I'm expecting a really good one. Hey, thank you for the call. Thanks for the call. And Billy is up next. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Paul. How you doing, man?
We are great, Billy. Thank you.
I tell you, Paul, I hadn't called in a while. This is Billy Joe. But anyway, I hadn't called in a while. But I wanted to call. I'm concerned, and I'm concerned not for the coronavirus, but I'm more concerned about the lack of toughness and the common sense and the gullibility and stupidity of the way we're going in this country. But I don't want to get into a debate about that with you. I want to keep it to football. Big Ten, Pac-12, to me, made an early decision to bail out, not play, and I think everybody in the country knows that. But so now they're trying to save face, and I don't know the current status. I guess they're still not playing. Is that correct?
No, they are not playing, and Billy, I'll say this: they are going to pay a price for it because
that's what I wanted to get to right there. I agree. Not only is Justin Fields not happy, but he's got a big petition of folks not happy. Right. All the athletic directors are on board with playing in the conference. I'm not sure about Pac-10. I really.
Well, I don't think the Pac-12 really matters in all this, Billy, because they're really somewhat off Broadway. But your point is a good one about even if everything else shuts down before September 26th, they've lost and we've won. Meaning, those of us, the SEC, ACC, and Big 12.
Absolutely.
And right now, I mean, this has been the most positive week I think we've had in this country, COVID-wise, in about 2 months, and
absolutely,
and I think there's a lot to build on. Hey, thank you.
Around.
Hey, appreciate your call, and hope
let me tell. Yeah, I wanted to make a.
Hey, unfortunately, we have to go to the break, but thank you for the call. We are heading to a break. 1 more hour to go. Hope you'll all stick around. Back after this.
Capital One knows life doesn't alert you about your credit card.
Hey, Couch Surfers, we've got nonstop tunes to keep you rocking while you work. Oh, and Colleen, yes, you Colleen with a K. Your free trial of Movie Plus ends tomorrow, and your card may be charged. Do you want to continue or cancel?
So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant. Eno looks out for surprise charges, like when free trials expire, and helps if you need to fix them. Eno, another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Limitations apply.
There are people who say things aren't made here anymore. Those people should make a trip to Michigan, or Kentucky, or Illinois, where you'll find our workers and dealers and engineers and technicians building at the Ford Motor Company, the same way we have for over a century, in the same place, for the same reason. Built for America.
Spain. For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Escambia and Santa Rosa County have decided that practices will start on September 7th, and games will begin on September 18th. The schools will play 8 games, and due to the changes this year, there will be no districts, and the state will put the teams in classifications after September 18th once they find out who has opted in to play. Each team who decides to play will be in the playoffs, as the seeds for the playoffs will be determined by a blind draw, and home field will be awarded by a coin flip. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Brendan Smith for the Escambia Gators. Smith was an all-state selection after the Gators' state runner-up performance last year, but wasn't satisfied as he picked up a new diet and lost 40 pounds. He took his 40 time from a 5.6 to a 5.0 flat. Pretty impressive to say the least. With 5 offers now from Bryant, Gardner-Webb, Jackson State, Missouri State, and Stetson, you can bet that there will be plenty more to come his way. But if you ask Brennan, he's not worried about it and is staying patient and working hard and ready to see if he and his teammates can take home the state title this year. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Chad Leonte here, the Sports Drive. Today's Believe to Achieve moment. We look at Tate High School, Molino's own Don Sutton. Before being a broadcaster for the Atlanta Braves, or 23 years as a pitcher in the Bigs with 324 wins. Don grew up in Molino, just wanting to play ball, as he talked about in his Hall of Fame speech.
My first glove, and it was great that I could bump into him here, was a George Kell 3-finger model that my dad traded a Red Ryder Daisy air rifle for. The first baseball I ever had was a fishing cork wrapped in twine and covered with friction tape. The first bat I had was an Al Rosen model. It had more nails in it than a lot of houses in the area, but I was playing baseball. And it didn't matter to me if I was throwing against the chimney, against the garage, or throwing against the barn. I was playing baseball. If you're going into baseball, there are going to be a lot of people better than you. Don't ever let anybody outwork you. And I didn't.
Now that's a speech here in the South that I think a lot of old-time baseball players can relate to. Thanks, Don.
Okay, here are 5 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a high school sport.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline, sportsmanship, and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages and fewer disciplinary problems.
Number 3.
High school sports help fight teen obesity and substance abuse.
Here's number 4.
High school sports provide wholesome, constructive after-school activity, perfect for today's families.
And number 5.
And high school sports are safer than ever before. Injury surveillance and research, better equipment, and the continuing education programs for coaches provided by state and national athletic associations have made high school sports safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
For your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. In July of 1934, Babe Ruth paid a fan $20 for the return of the baseball he hit for his 700th career home run. That's the equivalent of about $400 in today's time. Maybe you should have held on to that ball, just saying. In 1910, an incomplete forward pass earned teams a 15-yard penalty. Well, at least Drew Brees and his 75% completion percentage would have kept his job. Other quarterbacks? Maybe not. That's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Leonte and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Guess this is where I stop eating popcorn. Coming up, we'll talk some local news. Alex Leatherwood, Booker T. Washington's own, a preseason All-American. And a bunch of guys for the Big Ten and Pac-12 that one day will tell their kids, son, I guess I was an All-American.
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV.
Most days.
So somebody wants to buy that Southern Miss flag, you're saying? Because we'll get it out of here. I didn't have enough time to tape up my jersey. I saw Miles Brennan today making some good throws, so I wanted to make sure everybody knew. You're watching on TV today?
But Dylan Gabriel wasn't making good throws in practice?
Go Tigers. What? No, Dylan Gabriel needs to stop throwing picks against Pittsburgh in the end zone. I'm not in the mood for that. But nobody needs to hear about that today, so we're moving on. We're ranked 21st, and I would be happy to put us in the Pac-12 or Big Ten today, so we stay there. Reverse it right now if you ask.
Might move up.
That would be a good trivia question. If you ask UCF fans if they were preseason number one because somebody at UCF decided to hack the computers and put them number one. If we were number one, would you be okay with not having a season because you knew you stayed there and you could have another parade? I would say yes. I'd be happy with that.
Look, I got driving over here. I got
6.5 hour drive. I'm not going to the games anyway.
I got cut off by a guy with a UCF tag, and then it's funny because immediately he got cut off by somebody else with a Florida Gators tag. So I was like, what is going on here?
We've been pranking you for a while. A lot of people know you drive a red truck, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can tell which one I got. I guess that Oregon thing on the front.
This is for Chad with your Gators these days, buddy. But now as a Gator, got to be pretty excited. Jacob Copeland, Kadarius Toney, the guys are back, and it looks like that's pretty big. That's a big thing for him. A lot of times you get a lot of those stories where kids are hanging out, they're using the wrong credit cards, or they're doing something. There was a story down here with the guys from Alabama. Remember? Remember DJ was some of the guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering where you're going with
that.
What
I'm saying is sometimes there's a story like this, and they start to name players, but maybe 2 or 3 of them actually are legit of whether or not they're going to help the team win. And then you got like the special teams backup guy. Eventually, one day, that redshirt sophomore will get a shot.
That's a good guy.
Just maybe. Good guy, yeah. But Jacob Copeland and Kadarius Toney are huge parts of this Florida Gator offense. So for them playing, that's huge. It's huge.
Copeland more than Toney, but yeah. I agree.
Toney's
Trayvon Grimes is the one you had to have come back to start off with. And once you got him back, you kind of felt like him and then Zachary Carter coming back. Because remember, Zachary Carter had his father that dealt with it for over a month in the hospital with COVID-19. They lost a family friend, a close family friend. Please put that down. That is not PG-13.
It's my mask. What are you talking about? That is my mask, by the way.
That's rated
It doesn't look right.
R. But anyway, when it's great news they got all of them back. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But still, so much disrespect for Kyle Trask.
Luka Doncic getting it done, and tonight, the biggest series. Is there any argument it's the best series so far in the NBA?
Yes.
Okay.
It's got more intrigue than OKC.
Stop you there.
And Houston.
Toronto and Brooklyn. I understand. No,
OKC, Houston. But Porzingis is out tonight too. So all night. Well, so you know what that means? Boban.
There is more Boban.
Boban show tonight, baby.
Max Kleber.
Luka's got to have. But Kleber's a good defensive guy, by the way. He doesn't do anything great though, but he does everything good enough.
Offensive or a compliment to say it's sort of like the President's Cup in golf when you play Dallas?
No, I don't think so. I
think that's fair to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because, like, the Clippers, every one of the guys, besides, Zubac, but all the rest of the players, American-born. But at one time, you're going to have Boban, Porzingis, Kleber, guys like, sounds like the bad guy in a Die Hard. Get him! It's Kleber! And Luka. I think I'm forgetting. So J.J. Barea?
Yep. There's another one, too. But
there's another one. Now we're getting to the point where we're just starting to crop them up, wrangle it up. But it really is like the whole team out there. I know Tim Hardaway Jr.'s from here. His dad had some comments. He probably can't watch these games without making a comment.
But Seth Curry?
Seth Curry's fine. Yeah,
I find it funny.
He
Seth
shoots
Curry
from different countries.
He's had a really good playoff, though, so far. And yet he's married to, what's his name?
Doc Rivers' daughter, yeah.
His daughter.
Yeah.
Saw the pictures of that. That's awesome.
He's a doc. She's got, look, she is.
Who's she rooting for?
PhD in fine. No, she is. I'm just joking. No, she is. I actually remember calling one of her games at Lake Highland. They went to Lake Highland.
That doesn't change what you just said.
Well, it does. It changes a lot.
It doesn't change
It actually makes it creepier.
I know.
It actually makes it a lot creepier. But overall, let's get to some big news here.
Anything.
Talking about the I know you want to get to WWE banning virtual fans. Did you see? It was terrible.
Yeah,
this is not
something
funny.
with that. Yeah.
Guys were dressed in KKK for the virtual. Let's not go that route, people. Like, you earn that spot on that virtual box to sit there. Let's not put on the hood.
You should
Let's
lose
not,
your
digital,
digital rights overall.
Well, the White Sox should lose their rights when they had, what is it, Ghost Night? Did you remember that? Oh, terrible idea. Terrible idea for Ghost Night right behind home
First time
plate.
I've had a terrible idea.
That was cut the holes out there. This wasn't even near Halloween at the time. But, there's some things going on right now about the Big Ten. We found out that Kevin Warren has been sort of MIA when it comes to answering questions.
Mark Emmert? Oh, okay. Sorry. Same thing.
Same guy, right? Same guy. They've morphed into one human together. With the powers combined, they can crap on everybody.
Talked to him.
Yeah,
he said,
like
just hide.
The
just
reverse
hide.
Captain Planet.
Come over to my house.
They're destroying
I've got a basement. They'll never find you.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
This is where I go. His quarters. One of those movies with Magneto, like the shield, the plexiglass shield can't move. Kevin Warren has said, though, that nothing. And the the Big Ten commissioners, or the athletic directors, have come out and said that nobody said they didn't want to play. Like, this is coming out now. At least the athletic directors, it seemed, they took more of a path of, like, getting together, maybe over some wine and, like, figuring this out together, being like, hey, did he talk to you? He didn't talk to me. He didn't talk to you either. Like, immediately the coaches just went for that coaching mentality, like it's 4th and 1 at the goal line. It was a full-out blitz. they full-out blitzed. And they were, no, we want to play, sending letters, and a lot of them were right. But then the ADs all came to collective, and they said, none of us said we didn't want to play. It's pretty big. Because you would think that the most important people in that room would be the commissioner, the presidents of the school, those old chairmans of the board, and then probably the athletic directors. Like, the coaches don't have to be in that building, that room for that. And frankly, not all of them have the type of business expertise, or they've got an agenda. Coaches want to play. Their contract depends on it. And also, that's what they do for a living. Like, a lot of coaches, once they're done coaching, a lot of them die at old age. I mean, think about it. Joe Paterno, Bear Bryant, a lot of guys don't make it once they stop coaching because that's all they know.
It's in their DNA.
It's all they know. So a lot of these guys, you have to push them off the field. Think about it. Bill Schneider, literally, his field, push him off. Not really physically, but that would hurt. Bobby Bowden, the legend himself that built Florida
State.
State.
They brought his replacement in to stand beside him until he realized, all right.
It was like a coach in waiting. And I hate that coach in waiting, but coach in waiting, Jimbo. And they're like, oh, is he going to be there? Even like Chuck Amato, sometimes like calling, being like, Mickey Andrews is like, come on, coach. I'll take you for dinner. Come on, let's go. He's like, no, I'm good. It gets to that point.
Over.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm good.
So you don't need the coach there, but the athletic directors sure as heck should be in that room. And not one of the 14 said that they wanted to stop. That's just not right. So, I mean, there's nothing else to say. And ultimately with this conversation, that does not mean, shameless plug real quick, go Tigers, see my name on there? We got to make sure people see this. Okay. We just need to understand right now that the Big Ten, even if they made the right decision ultimately, where people look back 3 months from now and said, man, they shouldn't have started. Too many cases went up. You had 560 cases at Alabama, University of Alabama, when they reopened the school. Now, I'm not sitting here to say you have to look into the numbers. How many asymptomatic? Where were they? How many of them got on and now they're not anymore? Like they lowered that number to 5. Who knows? I'm not breaking all the details. All I'm saying right now is for those schools, even if they're right, they've gone the wrong path of dealing with this. Because no matter if you're 100% on a test, if you didn't study or you never went to class, you didn't take the right angle to teach other kids. If you're like me, go to the beach and surf. Take those half days. Stay up. Drink a bottle at 16. Don't do any of that. But if you do it and you get an A on the test, that still didn't mean you're the best student. You're just really, really smart. For these guys,
you got really, really lucky.
Really, really lucky, or you had the test. At that point, you probably had the test. If you never went to class, you probably got the answer key. Cliff Notes. I know nothing about them. But you see what I'm saying? Even in this path, they've done such a horrible job of communicating and not communicating to the 14 athletic directors. That's the icing on the cake to me. It's a shame. Let's get to some of the conversation. High school football schedules are now out, so we'll be breaking those down. Any notable games? I know this week, a game that you've got ties to with the Alabama, the Mobile area right there, having a chance to call a game on ESPN broadcast. They'll have Cole Kublik, who actually was on one of our original shows, the Auburn show that we used to do, right here on the old ESPN Pensacola, 1080. And Cole has done a great job. He's worked his way with the SEC, former lineman for the Auburn Tigers, is just an encyclopedia, very similar to a Jeffrey D. for Florida. Cole knows a ton when it comes to stats, gets involved, and offensive linemen usually are like that. Cole is going to be broadcasting that game, ESPN broadcast 6 p.m., Toro Stadium right there, St. Paul. St. Paul's versus Spanish Fort. Should be fun. It's exciting. We got football.
Well, it's going to be interesting because St. Paul's, by the way, took down McAdory, which anybody that knows anything about Alabama, McAdory they're always go deep in the playoffs. And look, St. Paul has done a great job, but they, last week shutting them down, I think they allowed 130 yards of offense for McAdory. St. Paul's, look, this is going to be an interesting game because you can look back at it and say, okay, Fairhope they upset Spanish Fort. Fairhope's pretty good this year, obviously. But is the defense, here's the thing, Spanish Fort, what's going to happen? It's so tough. It's a different game when you play at Spanish Fort. The Spanish Fort team is still really good. You're talking about a big rivalry. One thing that I will say, I don't know if it's out there, I have no idea, but if you are somebody that knows somebody or you're maybe going to that game or whatever it is, please, people, do a favor and social distance somehow, some way, because you're going to be on national television, and we can make a really good impression on a lot of people because this will be viewed across the country because, understand, there is hardly no football on TV, and regardless, this is on ESPN. This is going to be on the big boy network there, so everybody's going to be watching it. So, look, I know they had a problem last week. I'm sure they are. I hope they're preaching it out there, but I'm just throwing it out there. Please, social distance. Like, the football is going to be great. But we all know how people are going to be. And, look, we want to keep playing football. There's been some games. I looked this week. I believe there were 6 games in the state of Alabama that had to be canceled because it was COVID-related. And that's not terrible numbers, but it's still not good. And like you were talking about in Tuscaloosa on campus, what's happening there. That can easily happen in a high school just like it can happen anywhere else. I know we just went back to school, and what I heard is the signs are good, way things are going here. But once again, this is going to be awesome. On the football side of things, you couldn't look Spanish Fort, St. Paul's. When I graduated from Mobile, I went and coached over in Mobile for a little while. These were 2 teams that are always phenomenal. I mean, you're putting not only SEC talent out there on the field, but you're putting guys in the NFL as well. Guys that went to play LSU. Yeah, there you go. But look, it's going to be a lot of fun, and regardless, it's football on TV. Can we just call it? It's football on TV. I mean, while we're awaiting our high school football here,
or you're awaiting your Florida Gators.
Yes, absolutely. Waiting Florida State coming up soon. South Alabama comes up in 9 days now. 9 days we'll have South Alabama and Southern Miss and somebody else in Central Arkansas. I don't know who it is.
Somebody from the beginning of yesterday's show will show up to the new stadium and there won't be a
highly
game.
disappointed because
they Southern Miss.
Yeah, boom.
They tuned into the beginning of that.
Didn't check anything else.
It just went straight to it. Some guy cheering like, I heard it on that. Don't buy that.
It's going to be fun. I think it's exciting. We got a lot of our high schools, our schedules coming out today. Guys are finishing up the schedules. There's a lot of good games on tap for week 1. Some teams are still looking for a week 1 opponent. They got everything else figured out. Things are coming together. I mean, I know it all can change on a dime, but God, we're getting so close. I'm scared to be excited because I know just as soon as I get excited, it can be taken away. But screw it. I'm just going to be excited. Football's coming back.
850-623-1330 is the number. We're not going to talk anymore on this, but it's still news, so we got to bring it up. But the Raptors discussing boycotting Game 1 versus Celtics after police shooting in Wisconsin. All I'm going to say on this is, and we're done, is I don't think, this is my opinion, that's the right angle to take because who are you really going to tick off? You're going to tick off an NBA fan base that is excited that the Toronto's going for another run, and the majority of NBA fans right now, a lot of them are black. So what do you I'm trying to see what the angle is. Who are you trying to
I mean, what is? I mean, in all seriousness, now, if anybody knows the true reason
what's the
behind
end game on that? You know what I'm saying?
But you're talking about game one. Why not the series? Like, what, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're, I have no idea. When I saw that, I was like, what's the point, though?
What did the NBA do to deserve that?
Like, it's not, the NBA's the one that suffers. The NBA has done everything they can to help you and put you on a platform for this. I get it's terrible.
Yeah.
Look, it is what
the NBA's done an incredible job working.
That doesn't make sense. I think it's more of like headline, like, hey, look, let's
look what we're doing.
Look at what we're talking about doing. But whatever. I have no idea. I don't understand the hook to it.
They're not even playing in Wisconsin. Like that. I mean, if they were playing the Bucks, maybe like, hey, we're not going to the city to show that we're not going to support this town.
Yep.
First off, they're in a bubble anyway, so that makes zero sense. But I mean, that's like the Lions didn't have practice. Okay, most Lion fans just go, okay, you just missed a day. The other teams go, just missed a day of practice. There's angles. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one confused about the angle. If after that happened, which was sad to see that happen, but after that happened, if you're eating dinner and you just look at that restaurant, good old Millie walks by, who's run a ma and pa restaurant here 40 years, just say, I'm not paying my tab right now. I'm walking out right now. Well, he's like, what are you even talking about? I haven't watched the news. I'm busy in the kitchen. No, we're protesting right now. Millie's like, this has nothing to do with what's going on. This is so ancillary. Like, this doesn't – why are you hurting the NBA? Why are you hurting – if anything, they work so hard to dedicate Black Lives Matter and everything going on. The NBA of all leagues, putting on the back of the jersey all over the court, hand in hand, allowed people to go if they needed to back out. Like, I don't understand why you're trying to hurt the NBA over this. If you want to protest, that's okay, but not this. It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense. It makes as much sense as tearing down an Abe Lincoln statue. And that happened. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk some more on what's going on. Ray Caldwell, we were way ahead of this time. He's not listening. Got struck by lightning. Came back out. Pitched a no-hitter 2 weeks later. How about that next time you're having sour grapes at work? Yeah, what did you do? I got struck by lightning and then pitched a no-hitter. All right, you win. Sports Drive coming back for more right here on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Do you feel that you're missing something in your life? Sometimes life can get in the way. Well, there's no better time than now to finish your diploma. Georgetown Technical College is here to help. They offer high school completion programs, adult basic education, and GED prep classes that'll fit your schedule. And now Georgetown Technical College is offering face-to-face instruction. To learn about all the programs, costs, and schedules, visit georgetowncollege.edu. That's georgetowncollege.edu.
Locally owned, ADX Communications is currently accepting applications for a lifestyle talk show host on News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. The position is part-time, Monday through Friday, and requires knowledge of our Escambia and Santa Rosa listening area and lifestyles. Schedule and perform on-air interviews with guests involved in local businesses, civic activities, nonprofits, arts, and entertainment. Send resumes to HR@newsradio1620.com. ADX is an equal opportunity employer.
Locally owned Jackson Pace Pharmacy has exciting news for ED patients. Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic for Cialis, is now here, and the cost savings are huge. Save 80% on the 20-milligram tablets, 30 tablets for $80, less than $3 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, so stop by Jackson Pace Pharmacy, 2256 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola, and cash in on the savings today.
Chapper Leonte here with the Sports Drive, checking in on the AP Top 25 preseason poll in college football. The Clemson Tigers opened the season at number 1, followed by Ohio State at 2 and Alabama at 3. 7 teams out of the SEC made the top 25, and 4 in the top 10, with Alabama 3, Georgia 4, LSU 6, and Florida number 8. 9 teams out of the Big Ten and Pac-12 made it, but only for the preseason, without playing in 2020. And FSU still a little work to go, with 6 top 25 votes.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. So probably too many people out there don't know the name Ray Caldwell. You know, it's not. They probably do know a guy named Ray Caldwell. I do know a few guys. It's pretty common name in the South. I do know Ray Caldwell.
Not the Ray Caldwell though.
High school kid who's a bully named Ray Caldwell. Raging Ray, making waves when it comes to doing something far and beyond. What did you do? Well, you probably didn't get struck by lightning in 1919. I hope you didn't. If you did, you found the fountain of youth through it because fought in the world wars, and then you're here today to talk about it. But 1919, Ray Caldwell pitched for the Cleveland Indians and finished the game after being struck by lightning. JP had it on his we were way ahead of the times. You had it on crazy moments in sports that you didn't know happened. We had talked about it about 2 months ago, but yesterday, being 8/24, that was the date. Almost 100 years ago, 101 years ago when it happened. So because of that, they were showing it all over. People were sharing like, man, guy got struck by lightning, and he came back out. They revived him on the mound, and he came back out to finish the ninth. It's like one thing to stay around, but then you're like, no, shake off the rust or a lightning bolt and go get the next 3 outs. 2 weeks later, he went on to pitch a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium and won the World Series as the start of the next season. Tough son of a gun word goes to Ray Caldwell. I mean, he doesn't get much better than that for a story.
I mean, I feel I would rather have him than half of our bullpen right now because we can't get outs and they're healthy.
I don't want to hear about pitching right now as a Red Sox guy.
By the way,
first team to 20 losses, I don't want to see.
Are they? Because somebody has 21.
Maybe we had a game off. We were the first 21. One to get to 20 that night. I think we because it was a 6 o'clock game Central Time, we lost. Somebody lost later that night, and then we end up losing. They lost, and no matter what, we're terrible this year. So I don't know how to put it any other way.
The Angels are 9-21.
They played way too many games. Joe Madden's like, he don't look good with the mask.
By the way, can we get Trout? I'm sorry, and talked to Bob today. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Guys sticking with teams.
What about Bob?
What about him? There you go. But guys sticking with teams like, we were talking about NBA, and boy, Bob knows his NBA, obviously.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But, he was asking me what my team was. I said Giannis. But solely because I want to see Giannis get a championship because what I'm worried is going to happen he's going to go join a super team. And look, it's fun to watch those guys, but in the end, it's like, yeah, cool. Like the old Warriors team, they were fun to watch because, it was like, wow, all-star
but what
team.
super teams are really out there right now?
But in an off season, that can turn like, okay, throw Giannis on the Warriors coming up this year. Like I'm just saying, like it.
You've brought that up before. This has been.
I'm just this is what I'm. That's why I want Giannis to get a championship.
Subliminally, you've done a good job of forcing that into. If people are listening, he would be perfect in that offense.
I hate it's to mention a team that has done this through minor leagues and things like this. Although they bang on trash cans. The Astros, a team that was terrible. They built up for the draft, things like that. And then those guys all came together and they were fun to watch. I like that. Yeah. But in the NBA, you see it a lot. Going back to what I was getting at, because I know I'll follow your trail. I know how this goes. See, I'm part of your ways now. I'll talk about 16 other things and not even talk about.
I'm trying to. I want to get to the AP.
But Trout with the Angels. Can we please get him? If the Angels aren't going to build around him, can we please get him to a team where we can at least watch him in the playoffs?
But that's not. But they've tried. It's their pitching staff so awful.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, ship him off if you're not going to do that. Let's give him an opportunity.
They spent a ton of money around him hitting wise. Think about it. Shohei Ohtani was like the most expensive player to come over. Then they also brought in Anthony Rendon, who was the MVP of the team that just won the World Series.
That's what I'm saying. If you know what your problem is, it's been your problem. And so why do you keep trying to patch it over here instead of fixing this over here?
Because it's just bad. It's just bad GM work.
That's what I'm saying.
I would rather get 3 guys from the minors, and so would most people. You could bring up 3 guys from the minors, get rid of Albert Pujols, which would help you right now, Shohei Ohtani, and also get rid of a guy like Anthony Rendon, and you add 2 guys, like even if you took like a Chris Bassett and like a Frankie Montas out there from a guy like Oakland, who are like their 3 and 4, it still would catapult them.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Oakland has a bunch of guys that you've never heard of, and then they've got a bunch of guys that are just 98 hurlers in that arsenal with their starting rotation, and they win. They've been winning for a while. If you got good, solid starting pitching, you're going to win. There's no code. Baseball people want to figure out, yes, if you have a lineup like the Yankees, does it help a ton? Yes. But guess what? If they didn't pick up Garrett Cole or have the Luis Severinos over the years, or get even a guy like a James Paxton who's not been pitching well but still an ace, without that, if they were still going with a bunch of CCs, it's a reason why he's spending more time at CC's Pizza these days and he's off. Because if he was the one still, and they didn't have the Masahiro Tanakas and all the other guys they brought in, they would still be a team around 500.
They've given up 173 runs. The only team that's worse, I just looked this up, is the Red Sox with 175. But it tells you the Red Sox have 0 pitching.
But they have
0.
The Red Sox still have a ridiculously good offense, and they're the worst team in baseball. Think about that. The Angels and the Red Sox both have really good lineups with all-stars, J.D. Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. Everywhere you look, Rafael Devers. Same thing with we just talked about the Angels. Their pitching staff, they're throwing out a guy named Suarez right now. He might not know how to salsa, but guy's got like a 7 ERA. These guys like Pena and the guys, they're jokes. Both of these teams, their pitching is jokes. And because of that, they're not going to win games. AP All-Americans, when it comes down to it, I guess it doesn't really matter, but a guy like, let's go with a Rondale Moore. He doesn't care anyway. He was already opting out. But if you were on that list, one of your old brethrens, right there with Sewell, offensive tackle from Oregon, he is on the list. Do you accept that? Do you accept that since you don't play? Like you are now deemed an All-American.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
Right?
I mean,
we accepted a parade, so
could care less. He's going to get paid in the NFL.
That's right. That's a great award. This is sort of like, and some of them deserve it, but let's be real. There are some of those like, when In Weekly or P&J come out with like the best. Some of them are the best. My actually CPA, go. Christina Powers did a great job, taxes. Or not CPA, but it's just taxes. But when it comes down to a lot of these businesses, some of them, they'll hype like, hey, everybody in my grandmother, everybody at work, vote for me. Like, well, wouldn't that be voting for us too? But like everybody starts voting and then they win. Doesn't ultimately mean they're always the best. They just get enough people involved. For something like this, I'd have been getting a lot of people being like, hey, man, mind if I throw you a couple? Make sure my name's on that? Because, You don't have to actually live up to any of those expectations. Think about that. Like Sewell and guys like
no pressure.
Freiermuth, none of these guys have to go out there and play. Pat Freiermuth, But when they go out there and get ready for the draft, you know that Amel Kiper is going to go, Todd. If you look at it right here, Rondale Moore would have been an All-American. The AP had him right there as wide receiver alongside Devontae Smith and a guy like Chase. Boom, first rounder. And you're going to be like, yeah, didn't he have
Pretty
to play?
disrespectful that you ignored Keith Duncan, but that's fine.
Where did Keith Duncan get?
He's the kicker for Iowa.
Oh, he did get disrespected.
He doesn't get to live up to hype.
Yeah.
Just
Man, all of Duncan seems to be getting disrespected these days.
Yeah.
Looking at that, okay, I see him now. Yeah, he's on there.
He's down there at the bottom.
There's just as many Oregon State players on defense as your former team in Oregon.
That's fine. They still suck.
No Gators on there.
I still like
your
them.
team. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, for the people that need to know, Trevor Lawrence, which is more important in this. Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback. No problem there, right? I mean, the only other one would have been Justin Fields to argue, and he's not there. He's not your quarterback. Chew Bobbard. I know you're a fan, so
I like Chew Bobbard. I think he's really extremely good. I mean,
wow. It's a co-award with him and Mike Gundy. They want them accepted on the same.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work out real well.
Running back Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I don't know if that shouldn't be swapped.
If Travis Etienne if he actually, talent-wise, I think he's the best.
Yes, I do too.
But if he was able to get the ball, I still believe, and this is once again, shameless plug, let's get this on. Go Tigers. Wore this jersey during the day of that right here. I got it. There's a good chance UCF doesn't get the season in, so we're making sure here. All right, LSU. So we got that right here. So as an LSU part of the fan base, it's been clear. Jersey with my name on it here. Based on that LSU was down 17-7, I thought that Dabo Swinney's, I think a little bit of the ego got in the way. And we were both watching that game. We were down there at World of Beer. When they had the lead, they could have milked the clock. They could have ran more clock off. They could have given the ball to Travis Etienne. He was picking up 5 to 6 yards at least.
Yeah,
the one thing LSU did not have, and not to say those guys weren't solid 4-star guys, but the one thing is they did not have the big nasties on the defensive line that you saw one time in the middle, the Glenn Dorsey, Booger McFarland before he was in the cart. All of those guys, they didn't have that nasty beast that you see in some of the LSU defenses. And you could see that. Clemson's line, they were getting some big holes. But then they wanted to start to – Joe Burrow scores like that. Boom, one pass. Makes it 17-14. And they went right back. 2 3-and-outs. Boom, boom, boom. And it was 3 and out.
Boom.
The airmail throws. Look back. Trevor Lawrence had more incomplete passes in that game than he did in his last 4 games combined. And they were off. He was rattled. He didn't want to get into a shootout, which is rare for Clemson because they want to get in a shootout versus most of the ACC defenses. But the speed of LSU got to them, and they still were right there. Like, that team still, talent-wise, could have won that game. LSU deserves it, and they were the better team. But to me, watching Travis Etienne, if they would have utilized him more in that title game, it could have came down to the wire. I thought they got away from the run way too early when they had a 10-point lead. And Travis Etienne's a real deal. I mean, he is. Najee Harris should be on there too, probably. But
yeah, you're right. I mean, the defensive line, we had Chase on who would come down and play a little outside linebacker and would play end. I mean, that was something that I thought they would come after. It put Trevor Lawrence in a bad situation. That's where I think Trevor Lawrence got a bad rep because people were like, well, wait a minute, this guy's missing passes. It was because they become one-sided way too often. You're right. Once again, Etienne was getting chunk yards. I'm not saying it would have changed the game. I'm just saying it does change it a little bit.
Trevor Lawrence also had a 60-yard touchdown call back for a fake pass interference. That was T. Higgins did nothing wrong. I mean, look, this is once again, get the jersey. But it was clearly shown a couple times, and they brushed that aside. The game would have probably been over anyway because they were down, but still.
Not saying it would have changed the outcome. I'm just saying it changes things a little bit.
He didn't do anything. They were pushing him, and then he just was like, get off of me, and like shrugged him. There was no Kyle the red zone reindeer, Rudolph the red zone reindeer, and they're trying to push off for Minnesota. There was nothing like that. Although, to me, that wasn't – I'm not going to make friends with this one, but I was going to say it looked like it was going both ways on that. So to me, it sort of balances out. I'd rather see no flag than have to decide whether it was offensive or defensive. There was contact on that. Everybody knows the play. Saints fans remember that. But
for years.
Just
and years.
But no, you know what though? That's way a that is so distant to the Rams call. That Rams call so morphs.
But it still burns.
And the Diggs play. On the list, that's definitely third.
Yeah.
Behind Diggs and the other two were
but
phenomenons we never see happen, and it happens every year.
Every year. And so it's just like it's something different every single year. Yeah, that one may not. It burns the most right now because it's like everybody thought this is it. This is the year. Here we go.
There's no cream or medication for it either.
No, there's
nothing.
Not yet.
Nothing.
Not yet. We are getting a vaccine for it. Though.
Not that well. No, not for
that. If it keeps happening for the Saints, we'll get a vaccine for it.
Calamine, throw it out for that one. Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby, I feel very good about it. He also said, I'm excited.
The cream that he got?
I was going to say, that's what he said, his quote, be like, football, right, Bob? What's going on, right? Oh, yeah, football. No, he did say, he said over the last 3 weeks, since they made the announcement that they're playing football, he said he feels really good, which honestly was not how Bob always felt.
Big game Bob. Bowlesby.
What about Bob? Well, he said he was fearful a little.
But here,
Mike Gundy was trying to have practice back in April, and he was like,
one thing that's got to be said, too, is you're seeing some of these teams like Oklahoma have positives, but it's because they're coming back after a break. Like,
yeah.
They're coming back from wherever their homes or whatever it is, and they're coming back from the outside world, and they're testing positive. So that's the one thing that you have to read the story. Don't just read the headline, because you read the headline and it says Oklahoma dealing with a cluster of positives. It's because these guys had some time off, so now they're coming back because now they're not going to leave until pretty much after football season.
Some would say there was an event held in Tulsa, which is in Oklahoma. That was the whole reason. That's what some will say. That's the reason these kids today from that.
These darn kids.
Oh, that's
Tulsa.
Those TikTok kids. One of the other things I want to get to. Here's a little ditty for you before we go to a break. If he doesn't loses 10%, not that it's going to affect his family. Some people have lost jobs. They've lost a lot of things over the last 4.5 months. I know, sure as heck, without sports, it's been real tough for JP and I, but we're essential. Keep chugging it out. We're excited. Sports are back. Clemson is taking 10% pay cut from their coaches, anybody that makes $400,000 or more. Guess who is not on that list? Sort of a trick question here.
It is.
It's a very big trick question.
I don't know.
Just who's the only name that you would know that makes money as a head coach? I've narrowed it down to one person.
Dabo?
Yeah. Dabo is one of the only ones on the football staff that would be exempt from that list. So you want to hear this loophole? His base contract is worth $245,000, and he gets $8 million from Nike and media obligations. So everybody else, like the defensive coach, like the linebackers coach or the guy that the strength and conditioning, like Venables makes a ton. But those guys get nothing off of, like, there's no Brent Venables show that I know of. There could be. I mean, I'm sure maybe there is.
Should be.
But he should. He should have his own show, YouTube channel right there.
He just yells at people.
The Venables Network. Will Venables is like, excuse me, still playing? I think he's still out there on a team, Will Venables. But when it comes down to this, like, I would say 90% of the coaches, maybe not like the special teams assistant, but most of them make over $400,000 on that roster, and Dabo's the only one that his base salary is only $245, so he's not even going to have to pay that. Like, he doesn't get the 10% off, which on $8 million would be losing $800,000. It's a lot of money to lose. He's not going to lose any of it.
So
how about that right there? Dabo wins.
He will lose $687,000 this year.
That's
due
if
to the pandemic.
Is that what they're saying if? I mean, I saw that today.
Says his salary will be reduced by $687,000 as a result of cost-cutting measures announced Monday by the university due to ongoing financial impacts. And it's talking about the 10%, the $400,000 thing. That's what it says. It says with his pay cut, he'll make $7.5 million this year.
Who is the one that is it somebody from Clemson that dug this in? Because this came from Darren Rovell.
This is the Greenville News. So
I'm gonna go with Rovell on this. His job, though, not to say you're reading that. So we don't, either of us right now do not know the actual. But Rovell said, based on the talk, this was about 20 minutes ago on Twitter. He said that since $8 million comes from Nike and media obligations, or that group, almost $8 million total, $245 is his base contract. Now I'm sure Dabo could have sat down and been like, look, you can take it. If you're going to take my coach's pay cut, You can take it from me. I would hope that he's a good man, seems, for him. But that was reported right there. I had zero clue about that, about Nike and how much money he made. That would be pretty ridiculous, though, if he did.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Is that money going to NASA now? Where's it? We got to check this out now. Somebody might be just funneling that money into nowhere. That can't happen in America. That cannot happen in this country.
Because he agreed to a 10-year, $93 million contract extension in April 2019. It was scheduled to make $8.25 million this year, according to the term sheet of his contract.
That would add up to what Rovell's saying.
His pay cut he'll make $7.5 million. So,
I hope no matter what that he gets the 10%. Well,
I could care less.
It makes no. But it just is funny though.
You know what? Here's the thing: if he gets his money, he gets his money. Like you can't say he hasn't earned his money. I mean, he's revitalized that. They're always at the top. Their recruiting is always look, we pay Saban, we pay all these other guys. I find it funny these people that are criticizing Dabo when. What are we doing with all these other coaches? Like, it's just people that are just ornery. They're upset because we always go after, the coaches that are winning, the coaches, whatever it is. So, look, Dabo, here's my thing. People, I will never stop anybody getting their money. I may not agree with it, but hey, hats off to you. If you get $10 million a year coaching, then you know what? Awesome. That is great. So for Dabo, whatever it is, whether he gets a pay cut or not, who the heck cares? Because I tell you what, they'll pay him even more if he goes out and wins again this year.
Yeah, it's not going to affect either of us. We look at it whether he gets the pay cut taken or not, and say that's a ton of cash.
It's like Feinbaum. Feinbaum gets salty about him because Feinbaum loves Alabama. Look,
we've seen
that. We all know it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But Feinbaum, understand your saltiness is showing a little bit when you're talking about bias. So Dabo's a great coach. He is what he is. I'm not saying he's Saban.
Yeah.
But he's still a great coach. It's okay to call a guy a good coach if you're an Alabama fan.
Yes, I agree with that. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle. With options like Blind Spot Assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP on a 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described as optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through August 31st, 2020.
At Indian Motorcycle, we've always believed there's a right way to do something. It takes craft, dedication, and working till it's your best. Visit Adventure Motorsports of Northwest Florida and save up to $2,750 on a 2019 Indian Chief Vintage with either no payment until 2021 or 2.99% financing for 60 months. Indian Motorcycles, available now at Adventure Motorsports of Northwest Florida in Pensacola. Always wear your helmet. Never drink and ride.
On today's episode of America's Least Wanted, the home invaders most likely to threaten your family are not human. Cockroaches can spread salmonella and trigger asthma attacks. Termites destroy billions of dollars in property each year. And stinging insects send 500,000 people to emergency rooms. Learn how to protect your family. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org. A public service announcement from the National Pest Management Association.
This is Tort Talk with personal injury lawyer Terrence A. Gross.
Hi, this is Terrence A. Gross. In 1986, the Florida Bar limited personal injury contingency fees through trial to 40%. At that time, I thought that was too high. I've now practiced personal injury law in Northwest Florida for over 40 years, and I'm proud to say I've never charged a client 40%.
Tort Talk is brought to you by Terrence A. Gross. Call 434-3333 or check him out at grossandschuster.com.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and you're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Put your loving hand out, baby. I'm begging.
Quit getting on my mask, all that stuff. You know, not a fan of this, apparently. That's not a good look.
Why do you still have your daughter's mask, though? That's what I want to know.
She has other masks.
But why do you still have that one? You go in public with that mask?
I have multiple places. I'm getting some looks.
I guarantee you there's been people that have called.
No.
With you wearing that mask.
To me, we're just talking about the Dabo loophole. This is borderline. This is a 4-year-old's mask that's been stretched out, making sure people see this on TV. So that's been stretched out, and it's pink. Nobody's questioning.
I don't care about the color, what it looks like.
It does
and
cover.
The fact that it's your 4-year-old's mask. That you go home every night and you could grab your other masks. I know you have other masks because you've littered them around our studio before.
There's like 4, and they have the same verbiage on them. It's like weekend nights or something on them.
Yeah, whatever it is.
There's like 6 of them. Brittany knows me too well, too. She got me like 6 of them knowing that I'd lose them, and now I'm down to my daughter's mask. Somebody out there, don't pick that up and use it. It's not good. I breathe heavy, and it's not good to use anybody's mask after that. That's way worse than breathing just straight walking outside without a mask.
What do you do if your child comes home and they traded masks with somebody else at school?
Well, that's worse. I mean, that's clearly, to me, way worse than if you just didn't have a mask. You're just breathing that person's air. I mean, you might as well lip lock for the day. Don't do that. Raptors, talking about boycotting Game 1. We're moving on from that. But looking at some of the other stuff going on right now in the NBA, the series currently, we've got the Miami Heat. By the way, did anyone notice, not to say they should, but the East just quickly became a travesty in this? The Miami, Toronto, and Boston just quickly swept their opponents, all 4-0 series. And Milwaukee pretty much should have. They gave Vegas to me, a nice jukester, by letting the Magic get Game 1, and they're going to win the next 4. So in round 1 of the Eastern Conference playoffs, pending a miracle tomorrow, it is going to be 16-1 in games. While the West is just beating the tar at each other. The Lakers, I think, it's so quickly on a 7-game series in sports, we jump so quick, and we all do. We can only base every single game on what we've seen. Now, after about 4 or 5, you should get a good feeling of the series. If you have no clue what's going on by the 4th or 5th game, then it's a really good series, or you just aren't doing your homework. You're not researching. The Clippers in Dallas is a really good series. Like without Porzingis, I expect, but Luka's still showing up. So as long as Luka's on the court, they can win any of those games. And Boban getting more minutes.
We've seen him perform. I mean,
yeah, and play basketball. But
Lakers series is over with. Lillard's out Game 5.
Yes.
Yeah, forget about it.
And not only that, though, remember, with Anthony Davis and LeBron, we said they had the best 2 players on the court. It's just a matter if the role players gave them something. Your favorite right there? Jumping Alex Caruso.
Jumping Alex Caruso
out there. And then
Kyle Kuzma's his own.
Kuzma's doing his thing now?
He's his own biggest fan. How about it?
What's Nick Young up to these days?
Who cares?
I know. I don't either.
Who the heck cares?
Not playing defense somewhere. Pickup game. But the guys like Danny Green, those guys are giving him a little roll now. And they're 3-1 now.
Jumping Joe
Oh, this
Ingles.
one. I'm disappointed in Denver. They've looked weak. Utah came back out, though. Donovan, your boy Donovan. And Jumping Joe Ingles out there.
My boy Donovan. He's being taken care of.
Be a good drinking game. Every time Jumping Joe Ingles has a wide-open layup and passes it off to the corner, you have to take a shot.
I'd be drunk in about 10 minutes.
Yes. He's 6'8" and lengthy, Australian. The back of his jersey says ally. And he goes up there for a layup, and he wide open layup. They just let him because they don't think he's going to shoot, and he doesn't. He tosses it to like a guy in the corner like Royce O'Neal. Giving some love. That's a true ally right there to your team, too.
It is.
I don't think that's not what he meant by it, but look at this. Starting off with a Rudy Gobert dunk. Can we give him the like a certain award, the COVID award. Just welcome back, Rudy, for all that.
Worst getting
moment
back
of
to
the
first.
Worst.
When he's performed well. By the way, Joe Ingles I think he already has an assist.
He does already. We're not going to break down the Nuggets Utah Jazz game. So, Saban talked about his 88-year-old mama and the difficulties of COVID. He said, "Mom, I'm not going to give you a hug today." No, that's the way I just worded it sounded terrible, but he's pretty much
sounds like an ESPN headline.
That was a terrible way of wording that.
Saban
it was actually
will
very
not hug
sweet.
his mother.
The article was sweet, and I just immediately Saban said, "Mom, I'm not giving you a hug today." I'd be like, "Whoa, what kind of fight did that lead?" No fight. Just trying to be a good Samaritan. He pretty much just said it's been difficult because he'll see her and they have to stay away. They talk for 45 minutes from a distance, but it's been that way for a lot of people, and I know it's tough on a lot of people right now. Both my grandparents, well, actually all four of my grandparents died within the last 3 or 4 years, but this year I lost my grandma, and this was before COVID really started, back in March when things started to shut down. But I know it would be very difficult. She had late-stage dementia and was living with my mom, and I could just imagine the nightmares of dealing with that. Late-stage people right now are dealing with folks that have dementia and are trying to deal with this. And if you've ever dealt with that, which is just horrible, I feel the people that deal with that on a daily basis, whether it's the nurses, doctors, or your caretakers, your loved ones, your mom, your dad, their kids, whoever it is, God bless you all. You guys have an amazing heart. But for a lot of people that are used to regular everyday routine and somebody that's going through that, not to really know what's going on, to be able to like, hey, you can't go to the store today. What do you mean I can't go to the store? No, we've told you this, but they don't remember. That's got to be so scary. And people are dealing with that right now. And I know your better half is dealing at the hospital all the time dealing with people.
Yeah, she sees it, and we talked about it the other night. And I think, by the way, is with everything going on, and it's very important to talk with people. And, talking with her about what she's seen. Because anybody that's working in healthcare, anybody that's a first responder, the things they see are unbelievable. Yeah, and I get emotional talking about this because just the stories that I've been told. But, things that she's seen, people that are passing away in the hospitals, it's unfortunate. These people that just want to see their families and they're not being allowed to see their families. I get it. I do. We're trying to stop this. It's crazy. Maybe you get one family member in there, and so it's got to be the same family member every time. And I get that. I understand. It's times are different right now. It's unfortunate, whether they're in homes and things like this. But the virus has killed a lot of people. They have. And the majority obviously have been older. I'm not getting into all that. It's regardless. It has killed a bunch of people, and that's sad. But it's sad to hear the stories of these people that understand that they're not going to see their family. They're not going to get to see their family before they pass. Things like that. It's I've lost family members as well. In the past, even this past year and in years past, it sucks. Period. But I can't imagine knowing they're sitting in a hospital bed and you can't go in there and see them one last time. It's unfortunate, but once again, it's the times we're in. It sucks. It's going to get better. People need to understand that it's going to get better, but it's only going to get better if we all do our part.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the AP All-American poll. My brother Brett Brilliante of the Golf Channel will join us. He will not answer Dustin Johnson questions off the course. He has made that clear. Getting that out of the way.
All right.
But when you shoot 30 under, you should be strictly talking about how Johnson came up big. We're coming back for more.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
They have no identity when LeBron sits. They have never figured out how they want to play other than give the ball to AD. Maybe he gets double teamed, maybe he doesn't. If he gets double teamed, it gets kicked to like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on a pick and roll that is going to end with an 18-foot fadeaway jumper that makes you puke. I think they're going to be fine, but this is not a 2-game, 5-game blip. This is like something might be happening here.
You can listen to the Low Post Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
On today's episode of America's Least Wanted, the home invaders most likely to threaten your family are not human. Cockroaches can spread salmonella and trigger asthma attacks. Termites destroy billions of dollars in property each year. And stinging insects send 500,000 people to emergency rooms. Learn how to protect your family. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org. A public service announcement from the National Pest Management Association.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys weekend, treat her to a gift card from Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Follow Stillwater's on Facebook or Instagram to enter contests and win great prizes. Or visit swmedspa.com.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
All of these lines are being crossed over the atmosphere. I need to know if things are gonna look up, 'cause I feel us drowning in a sea spilled from a cup.
Welcome back, Sports Drive 557 on this Tuesday afternoon. Chad Brillante, JP on the other side of the glass. A reminder, you can catch him each and every afternoon from 12 to 1 with Talk Football with Coach K. Tomorrow from 1 to 2, we will have the Tomahawk Talk Show. Terrence, oh.
You all right?
No.
You swallow a fly?
I am good. No. Popcorn kernel.
Oh, there you go.
Crushed me
did it
right
pop?
there. Oh.
Did it pop in your mouth? Wow,
that was bad.
That did not sound
good.
good.
I'm pretty good at not coughing, both of it. And thank you, kudos. I've worked with a lot. It helps a lot when people are like, but could not help it there. That was, I can count the times on my hand outside of that 1 month where we could not breathe, literally.
Yeah, we were taking.
You'd be like, welcome in.
Shifts.
Yeah,
like you would take the first couple minutes, and
do.
then you'd have to clear your throat. So I'd talk for a couple minutes.
But yeah, that crushed me. That popcorn kernel crushed. Let's get away from that. Let's get back. I can breathe again. Talking about the right now the AP All-Americans though. Alex Leatherwood, great to see. Pensacola's own Charlie Ward, when he coached him, said if this kid ever works on his footwork, and he knows a thing or two about having an offensive line protect him.
He's seen a thing or two, right?
Yeah, he's seen a thing or two. Heisman Trophy winner, 82% of the vote. More until Joe Burrow got it. Beat him.
He knows speed. He's in the NBA, too.
Well, Charlie said, though, if he ever worked on his footwork, the guy has the physical skills. I remember calling his games at Washington High School. He always had the size. He always had the strength. It was about the footwork. Well, he's come a long way. And when you work with the Alabama Crimson Tide, that can happen. Congratulations to Alex Leatherwood. He's already had a great career. He's going to be a first-round pick if everything stays on this path.
He'd have been a first-round pick last year if he'd have left.
But coming back, and he's a smart kid, too.
Yep.
Great to see Alex representing. Who are we? Booker. I didn't go there, but I was just giving him.
You got to claim them, too?
Get out of here, Gator fan.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brillante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get to more on the preseason All-American poll right now and taking a look here at, well, a classic moment in sports that a guy would like to forget, but I guess you can't forget.
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Broken beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. this time his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Sports Drive goes now. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each every day on Blab TV. JP on the other side of the glass. Today was a nicer day outside, caught in between the storms. Not some like James Patterson book here, but 2 hurricanes in our area. Today we got some sun out there.
Yeah, the other.
Gotta be optimistic.
Luckily, Marco or whatever wasn't as bad as they thought it was. We got more than everybody else did, with being over here. But
how can you tell it's a sports show when the guy? I would have said the same thing. What was that, Marco? Because I was the same thing. I'm like, what was his name?
And Laura is the one that they're predicting going to be a Category 3. I mean, that stinks. It's hopefully it doesn't go to what they think, but regardless, we all know hurricanes. And we all know that Category 3 can be a 4 in a hurry when it's out there churning in the Gulf. So, prayers for all those folks that are going to be affected because if you don't take it serious, you got to take it serious. I mean, it's.
I rode out a Cat 3 one time.
Well, yeah, typically, Cat 4 is where you got to go.
I've never gotten that far. Oh, we're talking hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, looking at let's go move on. Big 12, how about that? Bob Bowlesby saying we feel very good about playing. What league, if you had to take this? Hopefully these are not bets in Vegas. That's pretty terrible if it was. But what league survives the longest out of them? Is it the Big 12, where a lot of their fans are used to social distancing? You got big farms out there. I mean, Gene Stallings joins us every Wednesday from Paris, Texas, out there in his ranch. It's like 200 acres. He's out there putting in new blue bonnets. That's what the you don't put in blue bonnets. I think they just grow rapidly out there. They're wild. But he's farming out there.
You got way too into the farming stuff.
I got way too into it.
You caught yourself up.
I was going to go into veal. We were going to go way into it. But right now, I feel like the Big 12 has a good shot to Mike Gundy's not going to give up even if they cancel the season. He said, we're just going to continue to play. And if you don't show up, we're going to take that as a W.
I don't know. Seeing a lot of the ACC schools that are now virtual only, they've already made that call. Maybe my pick personally would be the ACC. I would like to say the SEC, but when you're seeing these kids on these campuses not doing what they're supposed to do, which was obviously we knew that was going to happen. I don't know if the SEC is going to go to virtual only. But right now, with 4 or 5 schools, including Notre Dame and those guys in the ACC that have already went virtual only, I will say the ACC.
Are you going to be the guy this week at the game on Friday between Spanish Fort and St. Paul's to go down there with the sign and says, "Spread out, kids. Wear a mask." In the front.
Can I dress as a giant mask?
Come on, guys. Let's get. I mean, it would be a good PSA, but kids, they're going to be packed in there. It's going to be.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, 50%
it's going to be
capacity.
on ESPN. It's not going to be a good. Remember. Well, no, our listening audience is Alabama, too. So I was about to say that's Alabama, so we're not taking any. But we're still.
That's still intriguing regardless. But
it's our audience.
It's 50% capacity. Remember that, too. And they sell the tickets, which I guarantee you as soon as they were on sale yesterday, they sold out. Obviously, for a game like this, it's going to be televised. I'm interested to see what they're going to do to social distance them a little bit more this week, especially because, like I said, you got an opportunity. You're going to be on national television. The last thing we need is to hear from all these other people that, look at the South. Look at them. They don't care. That's why their cases are going up. I hope the kids understand the importance, not just on the field. On the field is going to be awesome, that game. But we all know people are looking for a reason to bash it. So I hope they take it serious.
Yeah, we sounded like two old men talking, but we
We're in agree. We both agree.
Just want football. I mean, I want it to stay. It's
get this out of here. It's the second inning, and it's 4-1 Blue Jays over the Red Sox.
The Blue Jays picked up what's his name, by the way, from Seattle, Vogelbach.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they picked him up.
There
I
you
saw
go.
that. I was like, what?
Looks like the bad guy in the old Disney kids. Get over here, kids. You want to check on me? He's get this out of here. I don't want 4-1 already. 4 runs. Red Sox score to start the inning. All right, we got the lead. 4 runs out of the starting.
They have Rowdy.
They're so bad.
Tellez and Vogelbach. Those are two giant human beings.
Yeah. If they get on base, you better hit a home run because you're going to get stuck behind them. Clogged.
Big time clogged.
Talking about the Greater Pensacola Seminole Club. Well, this isn't a sanctioned event. Not to say going to grab a beer and hanging out with alumni has to be, but a lot of times it's underneath the school. The booster clubs go through the school. FSU is not going to
underneath the school.
I'm just saying it's part of it. Secret society. But I was out there last year. We'll be on air for this, but they're sending Lonnie Pryor. Some of the former players will be out there. Not sending them. I think Lonnie's decided on his own to go. But there's going to be a lot of good people out there. David Forte will join us, the president. But like he said, you guys can go out there. It's tomorrow. No, sorry, that do not show up tomorrow. You can. Jack Williams would be happy at Seville, but I was going to say,
going to show up at South Alabama. It's going to show up tomorrow.
He's like, all right, this guy got me once. All right, Thursday, right around 6 o'clock, they're going to have the kickoff, and like he said, they're going to have it. But if you're like, yeah, this is a great sanction, it's not a sanction. It's their own.
So are we
getting
together?
It? We're gonna be down. He's gonna come on our show tomorrow night. That's why to talk about it. We were down there. I emceed it last year, but I was able to get off at that time to go cover it. This year, too many working pieces. It would take me to go coordinate with Blaban here and get too many. I'm gonna be here. They didn't need me.
I'll be here regardless.
I told David, you really didn't. I was the guy that is like, and next on the stage is this band you want to see and not me. All right, and then clap. Like they were waiting for Irish O'Fell to talk anyway. He was the insider, and so I would just be like, here's 2 Florida State guys, and they'd be like, get off the stage, bum. Like they wouldn't say that. One guy did. Thanks, Mom. I didn't know she was coming, but like overall, they don't need me there. So that's what I didn't really serve a purpose outside of just being like
they're listening right now, going, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
You said it.
Hey, like the thumbs up, like good season.
All right, he got it.
It's pretty good on my prediction though. Right. Does anybody have pitching in baseball right now? I'm looking at these games. 3rd inning, Marlins 4-0 over the Mets. 4th inning, Phillies 4-1 over the Nationals. 2nd inning, Blue Jays 4-1 over the Red Sox. Bottom of the 2nd, Rays 2-1 already. Nobody.
Top of the 1st, Atlanta, New York, rain delay.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's the best pitching.
Atlanta has been in a lot of rain delays lately, by the way.
They're getting hit by what we just got. It makes sense.
I'm just saying.
Based on the
somebody
storm
may
patterns.
have spent $9 on a Atlanta, Philly lineup or Washington National lineup.
16 days till the NFL. Ho, ho, ho.
9 days till South, baby.
Have you seen any
South
of the?
In your mouth.
Oh, that's right. That's that. Whoa. Let's keep
That's
that
been around
off the
for a long
airwaves.
time. You covered South some. You've heard that.
Yeah, I did.
You've heard that.
I have. I've heard that even outside of the Jaguars.
I used to have the
before.
shirt South in your mouth, and then University of Mobile didn't allow it.
An uncle one time. Oh no. I just got to say though, from a standpoint of the NFL, 16 days away. NFL Hard Knocks. Have you got to?
A little. I've never.
No, I'm actually very intrigued this year. I have not seen it.
I've caught clips of it. It's all right. I mean, I've never been a Hard Knocks.
Do they try to avoid the whole COVID talk, or is it a big part of it? You can't avoid it. I mean, the players.
Well, the clips that I saw were avoiding it. They didn't say anything about it, which it's
back there.
Whatever.
Last scene is like 2 of the linebackers that are about to get cut, going out for beers, being like, let's get this out of here.
Nope,
Let's get this.
That's got to go.
That's got to go. Who was the guy last year from the Bucks? Right, they did the Bucks last year, and they did the Bucks last year. They got rid of him. They're like, oh, could have been better ratings this year. All right,
yeah.
Way to go. But the linebacker that looked like somebody out of He-Man, who ended up getting cut.
Yeah,
he became the big star of it, and then they cut him. Nothing like getting close to someone's heart. I guess that's what the ladies feel in like the Bachelor shows when that guy they want.
Well, the first game is Chiefs and Texans. I mean, I know I'm not going to ask you who's going to win the game because I think it's obvious.
If it's the first half, give it to Bill O'Brien, and then, well, no, they lost. They still lost the first half. It was 24-0.
They still
How can
lost
you lead 24-0 with 7 minutes to go before half and lose that half.
Because you're Bill O'Brien.
You don't really lose a half. If you do, it's just for gamblers. You have to play 4 quarters. But somebody that had Houston for the first half in Vegas lost a ton of money. Because you know what? One thing I've learned about gamblers, not that I've ever, but what I've learned is that I couldn't say that with a straight face. But one thing I've learned though is what's better than 1 bet on a game is 2 bets on the same game. Or 4 bets if it's quarter bets, or live bets. So there were people out there probably like, "Are you kidding me?" Think about that.
Parlay.
24-0 with 7 minutes to go, and you don't get it. They were asking Scott Van Pelt because he talks a lot about it, SVP, and I don't sleep, so I'm always watching that show late at night. I'm the guy that gets the reruns of the late night show on Scott Van Pelt. That's when you know you have a hard time sleeping, is when you're seeing the replays of SVP show that ends after the midnight games are over. And I'm watching the one that's the replay of his show that night. So I'm watching that, though. And they asked him the question, what's the worst bad beat he's ever seen? Because him and Stanford Steve do that segment. And he said, this one does take the cake. This would be terrible. But he said it was an old Mets game with Robin Ventura where he hits a home run, and the over-under on the game was 9 runs. Well, the home run would have made the game at that point. It was a 3-run homer, and it would have made the score. 9.5 was the over-under. And the 3-run homer would have made the score 6-4. So 3-run blast. They were down 4-3. Instead, they won the game 5-4 because Robin Ventura, after he got to first base, the other guy had come around, and he just started to celebrate. Just started putting his hands up and hugging. But you have to go all the way around the bases. So he did not care because those runs cross the plate, you still get credit. If you get to first, those 2 runs get credit for coming around. But he started to hug everybody and never made it around the bases. So the final score of the game was 5-4, and the over-under was 9.5. And he hit a 3-run homer.
That's awesome.
So that guy lost, and he said he was roommates with that guy who was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what?" Imagine that moment, because you've won your bet. I mean, he hit a 3-run homer. It's the only way you win that. It's the only way you win, because if you get the bases loaded with no outs and you bean the guy, you're still going to win once that first round.
But what happens if you're that guy? So automatically it happens. You jump and you run straight over there to go get your money, and they're like, you don't get money.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got to go back and find out what happened.
That's a travesty, because I've seen it all. I've seen craziness in Vegas, but that takes the cake, because you actually won. You literally won, and he just was too lazy to get around the bases. Then he got to beat the crap. Maybe it's karma. Nolan Ryan beat the crap out of him, and he was a terrible coach for the White Sox. Robin's on vacation. He's like, "Who's this guy picking on me today?" He's a big guy, too. He's like 6'5". We're done here, Robin. When we come back, we'll talk some more on what's going on with the NBA today. Luka taking on one guy in the LA Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. My brother, Brett Brilliante of the Golf Channel, will join us to talk some Dustin Johnson. Does he have the best game? Does Johnson have the best swing? No, we're not.
I had never.
You and him can just gang up and talk your Gators.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There you go. Gators.
Let's go to break.
Gators.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
3-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day here on Blab TV. It's good to look around the leaderboards here and see the Denver Nuggets are in basketball right now with the Utah Jazz. I don't know why I said it like that. That made no sense. Denver and Utah are in action right now in the NBA. That game's on TNT. Boston already with a 1-0 lead on the Tampa Bay Lightning 3 minutes into that hockey game. And the MLS back in full force. WNBA still we got next. Sort of like what I do with my remote when I'm watching. And you got Major League Baseball in action where no pitchers can do anything. It's about 500 runs in the first inning of games, especially out of the Red Sox. And joining me now, my brother, who probably doesn't want to see the score or has given up on it. Anyway, it is 4-1, giving the Red Sox too much credit here with Kyle Hart in the second inning. Brett, what's happening?
Oh, just watching the wonderful Red Sox game.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
It's, we kind of went into the season with zero expectations, but I wasn't quite expecting the worst ERA in Major League Baseball history through the first couple weeks. And how do you go and solve that? You go and trade for Nick Pivetta, who's got a 10.55 ERA. So, just when you think it couldn't get any worse, fool us once.
Yeah, Nick Pivetta is a guy. He's a pitching machine you turn to 98. He throws hard, but it's just a faster version of a pitching machine when I've seen him in Philadelphia. But you look right now at what's going on in golf, because that's what you do. You work for the Golf Channel. And when it comes down to golf, Dustin Johnson goes out there and shoots 30 under par, making us all feel a lot better about our game, right? But 9 under on 9 holes. Have you ever witnessed, you get to travel, I know you get to take those selfies in places like Lake Tahoe and in Scotland and all over, but when it comes down to watching a golfer, Brett, we used to go to Bay Hill and get to see some of the tournaments, but have you ever witnessed a guy in person working with the Golf Channel shoot somewhere near what Dustin Johnson did by going 9 under after 9 holes?
I mean, forget 9 under through 9 holes. Try 11 under through 11 holes. I mean, we're sitting there, Scotty Scheffler goes out there in the morning, shoots 59, shoots, one of the only rounds of, 60 or better in PGA Tour history. DJ in the afternoon is 11 under through 11. You're thinking, holy crap, Scotty Scheffler's going to shoot 59. It's not even going to be the low round of the day. 58 is the PGA Tour record. We're on pace for 57, 56. And then DJ goes out there and shoots the, most disappointing 60 in PGA Tour history. So, no, I've never seen anything like that. DJ is just a freak of nature. His A game is higher than anyone out there on tour. When he has everything clicking, when his driver is being bombed down the middle, when he's sticking his approach shots, when his putter is hot, I don't think anybody out there's A game is as good as Dustin Johnson's. The problem is he doesn't always show up with his A game. This is the same guy that just a couple of weeks ago at another course where people were shooting 20 under par, shot 80-80 to miss the cut. Like this isn't some guy on the mini tours that's like struggling for his job. This is a major champion who's got more wins like over the past couple of years than any other golfer. And he's capable of going 80-80 and then a couple weeks later shooting a 60 and being in contention in the PGA Championship. It's just, I think Dustin Johnson's, biggest attribute and sometimes his worst attribute is he just sometimes seems like he doesn't care. Sometimes that's not always the greatest. The people who really pour their heart and soul into it and really look like they're grinding over each and every shot and putting into practice before and after the round. Some of those guys are the ones who kind of work their way up to the top. But then again, there's not many people out there who could shoot 80-80 and then just go, all right, everything's good, and shoot 60 a couple weeks later. So there's no one in the history of golf that recovers from bad rounds, bad shots, quicker than Dustin Johnson.
Brett, I know you're in the you live right there in the home of a team that got to celebrate a national title a few years ago in a parade. But your team, the Gators, are getting ready for a season as well. I'll give my co-host a little bit of the floor now. He has jumped onto your wagon as he's an Oregon Duck, but they're not playing this year, so he has latched on. He's decided to. So you guys, if you'd like to take the floor and just do a little orange and blue brethren, go ahead, please. Feel free to. No, No, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, when it comes
down
to
me. I could have had my pipes ready for this.
I'll get a quote. Okay, Kadarius Toney and Jacob Copeland said Copeland's right here from Pensacola, but the additions of those guys making the announcement they'll play. Talk about that.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I don't think there was.
It's the right answer to that, I guess.
Huge. There was. I don't think there was a huge surprise.
Thank you, Tony the Tiger.
Really. I don't think any of them really ever hinted at the fact that they were ever going to sit out. Maybe Carter. Carter's dad, wasn't really too keen on him playing in the COVID days. But the three wide receivers, they didn't show up at practice and everybody just started speculating. But they had never come out and said anything about the coaching staff. They had never said anything about the environment. They had never said they weren't playing this season. So I think most people had the expectation they would return, and they have, and that's fantastic. Because let's face it, the Gators have a lot of expectations. Their receiving core is okay, but they're not winning anything without Grimes, Toney, and Copeland. Maybe they can lose one of those. They lose all three, just no chance. The rest of the core is just too young, and obviously the NCAA with their head up there, hasn't ruled on Shorter and hasn't ruled on some of the transfers because, they'll go give, somebody a transfer request in 2 weeks, and then you have to wait 6 weeks or 6 months for another. So that's a whole different story. But the Gators receiving core now with those guys back is looking really, really good. And, I think expectations are pretty high in Gainesville.
Speaking with my brother Brett Brillante of the Golf Channel, which will always be ready to mute him. I know he's watching the Red Sox pitching, so this is a family show. We'll have the mute button ready in case they pitch. But when it comes down to what's going on in the NBA, I thought the Western Conference, as expected, has been great. The Eastern Conference, 16-1. Right now, the favorites have outdueled the and the only game, the Magic, where if somebody doesn't know if somebody in Vegas made a steal on Game 1, how guys like James Ennis could beat that Milwaukee Bucks team. But
they
got. Do you believe in magic? Yeah, somebody got paid. But when it comes down to the West, Luka Doncic's the real deal, and Atlanta fans, Trae Young can shoot, but at one point he put on an Atlanta hat and walked across the stage to shake the hands of Adam Silver. And that moment, when you look right now at the NBA and where Luka is, if you were starting a team right now, I think it's fair to say, is Luka the guy that you start your team with right now today with the age of some of the guys like LeBron or even Kawhi's?
Chad, I watched this montage video of people 2 years ago, after the draft, pretty much, Colin Cowherd and all these guys lining up to call Luka a fraud, and he wasn't going to make it, and, oh man, this guy is going to be just okay, but he's not a franchise. And I have been all in on this guy. There's just sometimes you watch a guy and you go, man, like that is a guy you build a franchise around, and he is absolutely, he's pretty much, verified what I thought. He's fantastic. I still think in hindsight, the Suns needed a center, and DeAndre Ayton, was supposed to be a star. And I still think Ayton can be a star. So in hindsight, I'm not going to knock the Suns for taking that guy number one, but there was no reason Luka shouldn't have been anything other than the number 2 pick in that draft. And the fact that the Kings took Marvin Bagley, I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. There was no call for it 2 years ago, and there's really, really no call for it now. So I think that this guy is absolutely unbelievable. He does have a little bit of Larry Bird in him with the point guard skills. He's just this, special type of player. And if he can carry the Dallas Mavericks to winning this series over Kawhi, a defending NBA champion, over the Clippers, who had the second best odds in the NBA to win it all, a team that I picked to win it all over the Milwaukee Bucks a couple of weeks ago on the show before this whole bubble started. I mean, it would be unbelievable, especially without Porzingis, who's out tonight. So if Luka can find a way to carry this Mavericks team, heck, just beyond this round, it just signals that his star is on the rise higher and higher than we're talking elite air, Chad.
And he's doing it with Wilt Chamberlain numbers. And the thing is, like, James Harden gets 43, 50 points, but the difference is he also takes a ton of shots, gets to the free throw line. Luka, he's got 17, 18 assists when he's doing that. He's making other guys.
Efficient.
Yeah, and not only that, if Max Cleaver or you guys, you and JP's Dorian Finney-Smith, but some of those guys, if they make a shot, you have to say he's a Gator, right? He's still looked at as a Gator. He played there for a little while.
Yeah.
But, and those guys, if they made more of their open jumpers, because they are wide open when he drives, nobody plays defense. You know what I would love, though, Brett? And we grew up with Shaq. We got to go to the games, the Orlando Magic, and get to see guys like Shaq in the middle before defense at 3 seconds. But it would be so great to see one dominant center inside defensively against the NBA today, because so many of these guys like Luka, who's 6'7", 230, he knows how to shield his body, get contact or pass it back out. And there's frankly nothing any of those guys can do because they're afraid to foul because he's going to make his shots. But I would love to see one enforcer in the middle to just know that his presence, you can't do that. Like, that part of the game has been taken away. There's not one team in the NBA that has that. And Boban can only play like 5 minutes a game, so that doesn't work.
He possesses the skills of all your favorite players. Like, whatever shot Steph Curry can throw up there fading away from 5 feet behind the three-point line, Luka can do that. If your favorite player can, back down and kind of hit a little fadeaway, Luka can do that. If your favorite player can drive the lane, make an unbelievable layup or dunk, or draw the foul and go to the line, Luka can do that. So, again, I mean, look, he's not in that Kawhi, LeBron, rarefied air yet. I think those guys have proven it over an extended period of time. He's got to be able to prove he can stay healthy. I think it's unbelievable what he's doing through this ankle injury, but the potential is there. Like, you can look at a whole lot of guys, heck, even look at a James Harden and go, okay, he's a potential NBA champion, maybe a top, 25, 30 player of all time. Like, there's very, very few people in the game today other than LeBron who you can really go and say, I guess Durant as well, if he continues on the trajectory he was before he got injured. But, Luka legitimately has top 10 player of all time potential. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but he's the first NBA player in a while. I can genuinely say that, like, not only is he really, really great, but I really, really enjoy watching.
Brett, you got to work with a channel directly. A lot of us, we get to speculate. We've been essential coming into this studio. We got plexiglass in between us, outside the hallway, doing whatever we need to do. But you actually are working for a company that you guys are in the workforce to help televise events for a league that has been going on and already social distance when it comes to golf. That was, out of all the sports, golf would be that sport. But looking at college football, to me, I want college football to be played, and we all know if you start to send a bunch of fans in the stadium in the NFL or in college, it's going to stop real fast because we know the media today and the way that if a bunch of people at the gate get it and they can't go in, you know that if 25 people outside the Swamp got it and they weren't allowed in the stadium, the report next day will not be about Florida taking on Georgia or one of these games. It would be about, oh my gosh, 25 people in Gainesville had COVID. And it's just going to go like wildfire, and people are going to start saying shut it down. We understand what it is, but to me, I would like to see sports played and not to have all the fans immediately back there. But football also without fans is a different breed. This is one of the toughest mindsets that I've ever had to and I have no pull. I mean, my decision, how I feel means nothing to college or the NFL. But I'm just so mixed on this. What do you take from this? Do you think they should have fans? Because it looks like the leagues are going to play.
I think they should if they're doing it the right way. Like, you can't just open the gates. You can't have people standing in line.
Running of the bulls, yeah.
There has to be massive social distancing. You have to, be separated. You have to be wearing your mask when you're in line to get into the stadium. You have to be led to your seat. You need to be social distancing when you're getting your concessions, when you're getting going to the bathroom. You have to get let out of the stadium like pews in church. Like, these are little type of things that sound like a massive exaggeration, but it's just, as you said, it's just going to take, 10, 15, 25 cases at one game that has 20% capacity, and everybody gets shut down. So, again, if you are the type of person who doesn't necessarily believe in doing some of these, social distancing and some of these, things that are asked, just know that, like, there's no other way. Like, it's not like showing up to the game and saying, all right, go to your seat, like, is going to be an option for a long, long time. So really we have two options right now. It's either no fans at all or some sort of extreme measure at 20% capacity. I don't love it, but I'll take option two. And I'm not going to lie, Chad, like, Orlando City, reopens their home season in their home stadium tomorrow against Nashville. I'm looking at tickets. I've read everything about how they're letting people into the stadium. I've seen the map of how you can buy tickets in groups of 2, 3, 4, or 8, and you're nowhere near anybody else. And I'm not going to lie, like, I've read every measure they're taking, and I feel safe. I would never, ever, 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 ever tell anyone that they should feel safe, not only just leaving the house, but going to a sporting event at this point. But if you feel safe and everything that the stadium is doing seems safe to you, go enjoy yourself.
It's just with college football, and we're all real. We've had those parties and tailgates that half the people in Dad's group with Poe or Richard and some of those guys didn't even make it in the stadium. Remember, we're all sitting there, and a lot of those houses in Gainesville taking the Florida Gators, or any team for that matter. But a lot of SEC stadiums are situated around a lot of regular houses. I mean, all stadiums for that matter, around neighborhoods. And these people tailgate. College football, half the passion is leaving on the Friday night for getting together with alumni that you only see. That if you're in Orlando and we're coming from Pensacola, you see those guys only on that Saturday. And they spend the night. They go to a place like Balls. They'll go out. They'll do this. And guess what? That's a real bar, by the way, for people that don't know. But when it comes down to all this, Brett, how are you guys going to – I mean, to me – it's easy to say, yes, and you know what? That's going to spread it. And that's the difference is I know right now that I feel like a lot of these teams, and not everybody, but Jim Harbaugh was showing stats, all of this, that the numbers are going in the right direction, that they look like the players are showing accountability to play. That's what we've seen. And when they don't, there will be no football. But I'm going to feel real bad for these kids that have poured their hearts into doing it the right way and have sacrificed a lot of their college time not to go out to bars or not to go to places at 20 years old with all this testosterone, being the big man on campus, single. They've decided not to do that because they want to play football, and you're going to have fans out there tailgating and partying, and they're going to step into the stadium, and the numbers are going to start going up in the stadium, and they're going to have to shut down. It's going to happen.
You can tie when the university is performing tests, you can tie positive cases back to the students, back to the athletes. You can say, well, this person got it and he was on campus at this time. Like, you can trace positive cases to campus, to practice, to the team. I'm sorry, but you can't, the school is not going to be contact tracing people who were tailgating on off-campus houses.
No, they're not.
So that is your choice. I'm sorry, they're not going to be able to hold a football game at 20% capacity with 10,000 people in the stadium, and 10 days later go, 37 people that were at that game now have COVID, and they got it from going. That's not possible. So as long as none of those people that have tested positive spread it to players on the field, to coaches, to concession, to employees, I think they're still safe. That is people making a personal choice, possible lethal, possible ramifications, personal choice, but I still don't think that shuts down college football. It is going to be players, staff, coaches testing positive, and massive amounts or just one having a very, very serious case. That's where we're rolling the dice right now, Chad. Because right now we've been lucky. Yeah. Yes, all the numbers say if you are a certain age, if you are young, it's not as serious as certain other things. We've all read the charts. We've all heard the people talking about it. But all it takes is one. Just one college football player that is that 0.001%, whatever it is, just one, and it's all done.
Well, Kevin Warren's not going to tell us any of that, so let's, on that note.
and that's the biggest problem. Look, if the Pac-12 doesn't want to play, if the Big Ten doesn't want to play, hey, that's our prerogative. I don't like it. They're looking at numbers, but they need to have transparency. The presidents need to go public. They need to share their research. They need to share why. You can't have that kind of vote that costs so many people millions, if not billions of dollars, and costs kids like the quarterback fields and so many elite prospects going to the NFL. who will not play in the spring. They absolutely 100% will not. You can't cost them their last years of college without giving an absolutely very, very transparent reason why. It's absolute garbage.
Well, Brett, looking forward to talking a couple more majors when it comes down to the two tournaments coming up in the U.S. Open and also with the Masters, and we'll look forward to having you back on the show here soon.
Absolutely, Chad. Good talking to you. Say hi to Sam for me.
I will. Appreciate it, bud. Brett Brillante, my brother with the Golf Channel, joining us to talk some golf, little college football, and more. When we come back, we'll get to some college football talk. AP, the preseason All-American poll, including one guy right here from our own backyard, Alex Leatherwood, getting it done. Washington High School alumni and starting tackle for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Do you feel that you're missing something in your life? Sometimes life can get in the way. Well, there's no better time than now to finish your diploma. Georgetown Technical College is here to help. They offer high school completion programs, adult basic education, and GED prep classes that'll fit your schedule. And now Georgetown Technical College is offering face-to-face instruction. To learn about all the programs, costs, and schedules, visit georgetowncollege.edu. That's georgetowncollege.edu.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Back to school season is here, and while the kiddos prepare to go back to school, your dogs are preparing to go back to camp. Camp Bow Wow in Pensacola is the perfect opportunity for your dogs to play all day and then snooze the night away. Whether just for a day of play or overnight boarding, Camp Bow Wow is Pensacola's premier destination for dogs for daycare, overnight boarding, or grooming. Book your dog's day of play at Camp Bow Wow today. Visit campbowwow.com/Pensacola. Unleash the fun. Camp Bow Wow, Pensacola.
For your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. In July of 1934, Babe Ruth paid a fan $20 for the return of the baseball he hit for his 700th career home run. That's the equivalent of about $400 in today's time. Maybe you should have held on to that ball, just saying. In 1910, an incomplete forward pass earned teams a 15-yard penalty. Well, at least Drew Brees and his 75% completion percentage would have kept his job. Other quarterbacks? Maybe not. That's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Your voice, your vote. In our democracy, they matter and make our community and our country stronger. So make yours count. Get registered, learn the issues, know the candidates, and vote by or on November 3rd. Visit vote411.org for registration and election information. This message is furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hey, this is Jay Williams. You're listening to Sports Drive with Chad Brillante on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond, and they don't make you like they used to. You're never going out of style.
Welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Well,
not every day.
Some days. Not every day. Not every day. Looking at some of the things going on right now around high school football, the announcements of the games for September 18th have been announced for that Friday. I know Milton is going to play at Navarre. You've got your Northview Chiefs at Baker. That's going to be
the season at Baker.
You're taking on the Gators now. Now that's your.
Yeah, they're not blue. They're not okay. They're not blue and orange.
Okay, all right. Get it? It's orange and blue. You have to say it that way. I'm joking.
See, I'm still new to it.
That's right.
I've talked to my advisor, Jeffrey D.
If you say blue and orange, you
I'm
have
not
to take,
taking this from a UCF guy. I'm gonna talk to my advisor.
Wait
about
a second. First off, I don't think our camera goes that high. But has that Gator book always been there? Are we adding things to the room?
Yes, that has. That's been there for a while.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Tell how much I pay attention to our stuff around here. Gotta start breaking out some of these jerseys. Milton, Gulf Breeze, Davis's old jersey right there. We got old Ice Pilots. Greg Harris has made it clear. Why do you have an Ice Pilots jersey? Said, look.
Niceville plays Catholic this year, by the way.
Niceville, yeah. Pace, I know, plays Gulf Breeze to kick off the season. And
Scambia and Catholic week 1. Ooh.
That's a good matchup right there.
Ooh.
I got to get into this. I'm back in the saddle, baby. Woo. I think so. I think so.
Milton Pace is October 2nd.
Spent 5 years around those high schools. I was calling games. People, do you have a kid go there? No, but I was the broadcaster. And JP, we got to work one game. We can always say one day. Before we knew each other, we got that one big game at P&J. Remember there was some kind of big event happening right after that? Oh, that was the other game. We were doing a game at I was doing a game at Pensacola High School one time, and it was the Gulf Coast Gators versus the Pensacola Jets, the semi-pro football game. And it was on a Saturday, and Fred Barnett does a great job with the team. And I remember looking over, and they had some kind of big dance-off competition. It was a big event going on and it was just massive crowds. I mean, huge. This is way before
Is that the Stomp
COVID.
thing?
Yeah, it was the Stomp thing.
Yeah, whatever.
But we were talking lines down the road over there coming in. Where I remember watching that, threw my attention off, just like this segment has. So let's get back to the conversation on the AP preseason polls. Looking at some of the guys, if you had to take one of these wide receivers on the list, Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase. Don't really get to see Rondale Moore because he's already opted out at Purdue. So Smith and Jamar Chase, who are you taking? It's hard to go against Chase, how good he looked.
Jalen Waddle.
He was so good. Jalen Waddle's not, he's gone. He's not on that list. This is not.
He's not
you're
gone.
Forming your. I know he's there, but I mean, he's not on. He's gone from this list.
He will be above these guys.
In your soothsaying visionary right here, I'm just saying the AP hath spoken, and we get to read their
AP
list.
put teams that aren't playing in there, so I have no respect for them.
I didn't know this path was. We're not going to go down a salty path here. Let's get we're making this clear. Smith or Chase. That's what you get.
Kyle Pitts.
That's all right. Go get.
I don't know. I mean, whatever you want. They're both the same in my opinion. I mean, how do you choose one over the other? I mean, they're pretty equal.
I mean, okay. Well, that's fair.
That's why I think a guy that is going. It's obviously under the radar, according to that, is Jalen Waddle. Everything I've read, everybody I've talked to loves Jalen Waddle. He is a guy that you look at Devonta Smith, and that's the guy you think of. But Jalen Waddle is going to be the guy that takes the cake this year.
Yes, I mean,
I will bet on it. I really do.
So out of the four guys in the next couple years, if everything goes as planned, meaning the NFL just no matter what happens, there could be anarchy in this country. The NFL is like, all right, Sundays. Everybody else around the stadiums, like cars are getting looted, and it turns into Mad Max. Everybody's dressing with spiky masks and beating them, and they're like, oh, we got football in here, just like inside the stadium. Things are going as planned.
So 2021.
So yeah, exactly. I don't care. Triple hurricanes coming at us.
Say that.
Like Marco and Laura's brother, they got all these are coming at us. But every 15,000 years, two hurricanes are supposed to meet in the same area.
That's sweet.
I mean, in that close to each other. Just goes to show. Welcome to 2020. But
it's sexy, right?
When hindsight was 2020, somebody really didn't get the hindsight of that. When it comes down to what's going on right now with the four receivers over the last 2 years at Alabama, Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Devonta Smith, and Jerry Jeudy. Who do you think is going to have the best pro career? Two are already rookies this year, and we're first rounders.
It all depends on where you go for the other two guys. But
it's hard to tell that right now as a college kid going in, but who has the most talent to take that?
I like Jerry Jeudy just because of how that sets up for the offense. Because, by the way, Tyrell Williams with the Raiders and Henry Ruggs was supposed to be there to be the guy to take the top off. Tyrell Williams is now out for the year. So that leaves Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs, which
very reliable, but they're not big guys. They're not.
But Ruggs is not supposed to have the burden of that early.
No.
So that's going to be tough. He obviously looks like a number one. I mean, Hunter Renfrow is a good player, but he's not a number one receiver or really a number two. He's a Johnny-on-the-spot guy. I like Jerry Jeudy because they already have Cortland Sutton over there. They got KJ Hamler that's over there. They got some guys, and they got Noah Fant tight end. Drew Lock, they actually have a quarterback that the Broncos are saying. I mean, look, he looks good, but they're saying they believe in. They're starting to build around him. Look at the weapons they have, the wide receiver or the running back position with Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, those guys. It makes things so much easier. The reason I bring them up is because look at what's around him. It makes his job so much easier because he's not the focal point of that offense. So that's where I will say Jerry Jeudy.
Well, and also you got Darren Waller is not bad at tight end for Oakland. He's pretty solid.
That's what I'm saying, but you got one guy compared to 4 or 5.
Jeudy is, look, Denver had last year the leading wide receiver on the Denver, I want to say Nuggets. I know they're playing right now. It's better than saying the other name, that one guy. He's hopefully didn't lose his job. But Denver Broncos, 647. I got to be careful with my brain right now. It's been a long day.
Yep.
But the Denver Broncos last year, Emmanuel Sanders only played in 4 games for him at wide receiver before he got traded. And he actually led the team for wide receivers for total receptions.
Who was their quarterback?
A mixture of everybody. It's a mixture, but
before he left, who was his quarterback? Who was Emmanuel Sanders' quarterback? Jumping Joe Flacco,
and
then
was out there
Drew
before
Lock
the comment.
came in at the end.
According to Joe Flacco, it wasn't Joe Flacco's fault.
Well,
Vic Fangio.
He got hit on the head a little too hard, but
Vic Fangio is a defensive guy. The offense was
defense is going to be good again this year. Chubb and those guys.
There's one big problem. They play in the AFC West.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't matter.
Fiddle.
I mean, yeah. Well, right now, to me, they're third fiddle still. I'm ready to say that I'm a believer in one of those 3 to get their act together and somebody do well. I don't know how to answer that.
Who's 2?
There really isn't that to me is like all the years of watching before Buffalo became a playoff contender, saying who's the second best team in the AFC East. Like, I don't know, whoever wants to lose to Tom Brady. That's sort of what's going to happen with this division. Like the Raiders have Derek Carr. He could be good, but he's also been really bad. You also have, or not really bad, but the team has. He's not been really bad.
He's actually been
but
good.
His record, they've had a lot of close games they've lost, and it's not all his fault. The team's been bad around him. But you have Oakland, who now is Las Vegas, who is sitting there at what you can expect to be, I think, saying an 8-8 team would be about fair. And that might be high expectations. Then you've got the Chargers, who perennially you see them being right there, and I can see them as like a 6-10 team with a guy in Tyrod Taylor or Herbert, whoever starts. And then you have a team in Denver who defensively, yes, if Chubb and Von Miller are playing, that's an insane combo coming around the end. You got a running game that's gotten better with Melvin Gordon, and you have an offensive line that's been established. They've got guys like Noah Fant, who now is going to secure himself as a big target, and the game's moving towards a tight end. Now with Jeudy and Fant on the same team, you've got a really good team. I think it's Fant. I pronounce these things with a little of an accent. I'm realizing it. And then on the same time, you also have a guy like I think a decent quarterback. I said from day one when we saw Drew Lock play, I was surprised that so many people passed on him. I think he's a solid NFL guy. I think he reminds me a lot of a Derek Carr type guy. He's gonna win you some games. He's pretty solid, but he's got a lot to prove before he's in that upper echelon. Like there's a tier you can get so far. But Drew Lock is gonna be. I've talked myself into saying.
I knew you would.
Well, look, in the NFC East, you can be 8-8 and win the division. I think that second place in this division might be 7-9, 8-8. So I don't know. I mean, you might have 2 7-9 teams, and then Kansas City's going to go 6-0 probably against all these guys. They're like, get out of our way. They're only gotten better with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and that defense re-signing guys like Clark. That's a toss-up. But yeah, if I had to choose now that I'm looking at it, just to make my point and not make you shake your head, I'm going to go with Las Vegas. I'm just joking. I actually agree that Denver's a little bit better. I know. I don't know. I mean,
because then Marcus Mariota, for some reason, will be the quarterback, and then it's just going to be.
We can do a dollar sirloin over at. Let's do. You want to do our dollar sirloin bet?
No, I don't.
Well, for Vegas or Denver?
I don't want to do a dollar sirloin.
That's true. One of us might get that could lead to a lot more medical bills.
Worse than COVID.
Whoever actually buys that steak, if the other one has to eat in front of them, they actually lose the bet.
Yes.
So if you win, you lose.
So we can do that, where the loser has to eat the steak. Let's go with that. I'm down with that.
Some guy the other day, he goes, "Well, man, I always buy like cheap steaks and they're good," and I'm like, have you ever eaten good steak? I mean, there's a huge difference.
Nothing wrong with a cheap steak, but not a dollar steak.
But if you get those mocks, some of those tenderloin, like you go get some beef chunks at a place afterwards, that's not filet. So let's people that say that have never enjoyed the good side of life. And I'm not saying
you got really good beer.
I don't feast like, I'm not feasting like a king. I'm just telling you, there's a real big difference between eating a good steak and having to put a bunch of butter and A1 on it.
Don't you dare put butter.
For a dollar steak, I might put that through a ranch machine right there. So I'm just saying.
Would feed it to the bugs outside.
Herschel Walker, boys. We'll come back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola. Live TV.
Want to know what I like best about high school sports? I love watching my son run on the field. I love the fact that since he's been playing high school sports, he's making better decisions. And I love knowing that with the proper equipment, education, conditioning, and coaching, high school sports here in Florida are safer than ever before. And that's something I really love.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
With your ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM Sports Hot Take, I'm Davis Allen. So Kima Sivarin, remember him? He was the undrafted rookie with the Seattle Seahawks who was waived by the team because he tried sneaking a lady into the hotel complex. Well, he has formally apologized, saying he made a, quote, inexcusable mistake. Look, if you're a first rounder, maybe a fine at best. But when you're undrafted, you're going to be made an example out of. And one thing I hope is that you stand by your apology and maybe you'll get a shot at the league again. With your ESPN Pensacola Sports Hot Take, I'm Davis Allen.
This Thursday at 5:30, tune into the Sports Drive with me, Chad Brillante, when we tee it up with PGA and head pro at Osceola Golf Course, Adrian Stills, for his inside scoop on local golf events and some entertaining stories around the links. Adrian has represented Pensacola at the highest levels of the PGA Tour and is proud to call Pensacola his home. And now he's giving you the inside scoop Thursday at 5:30, right here on the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly Dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Calling all FSU fans, Tomahawk Talk is here. Tune every Wednesday afternoon, 1 till 2 on ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM to get the latest on Florida State football. Hear from the experts, the super fans, and even some former players about what's happening on the field from the sidelines to the locker room. It's Tomahawk Talk every Wednesday afternoon starting at 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330, 99.1 FM.
Presented in part by Gross & Schuster, attorneys at law.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. Love me do, I think it was, and from there it didn't take him long.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Had some sunlight today, calming before the secondary storm, right? Announcements made. You can go to our website right there, ESPN Pensacola, and also on Facebook to check out the PNJ. Did a great article on. Really, they just let people know when the dates are for the game. It wasn't anything. It wasn't a journal. I'm not going to get like some kind of award, journalistic award for it.
Great job,
Incredible job. You let us know when the games are. Thank you, though. That's Luka tonight, babies. That's all the time we have. If you're going to watch the